Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Patricia Hood, the Director of Cradle Small Business Development Center of Longwood College. Please give her a warm welcome as she comes forward. Maybe 15 years ago, I had a small business, and I was talking to my son one evening. We were talking about the business, and as we concluded our conversation, he said, "Mommy," I told him about the business was all includes, and he said, "Mommy, do you have a plan B?" And that has stuck with me through the years, because you always have to have a plan B whenever something happens, because particularly being an entrepreneur, you never know what's going to happen. You know, I've had this PowerPoint emailed to me. I've had it on the junk drive. I said, I'm going to cover myself in all directions. So, we're going to go back to the old school. Inside your package is the brown package, brown folder. And you'll find in the folder the PowerPoint presentation. And I will just kind of go over it with you all. For those of you all who don't have one, there's one over under, in every table under the tourism guide folder. And how many of you all have ever heard of the Small Business Development Center? Okay, so that's good. Good to be recognized. The Small Business Development Center is actually coming to Emporia. We are going to have a satellite office here in Emporia. We're going to be at the Greensville County Administrator, is that right, Carrie? Greensville County Government Center. So our office is going to be located there, and we're going to have someone from our staff maybe there once or twice a week. And what we're going to do there is offer the same thing that we do in Crater SBDC, but on maybe a little bit lower scale. So my purpose for coming to talk to you guys today is to tell you about the SBDC for those who don't know who we are, and to talk to you a little bit about the services that we're going to provide here, the same services we're going to be doing, we do at Crater Small Business Development Center. So the first topic, and I'm not going to go over all of these because I always have a thing about too much things being on a PowerPoint. So I'll kind of go through it real quickly with you. It says, who is Longwood University SBDC? And what we are counseling services, we are training services, and for a long time, as a small business owner, we were actually labeled as being working with just startups. And that label kind of stuck with us for a while, but our main purpose in existence is to work with existing business. We don't exclude startups. And to be very honest with you, I get excited about startups. When they come in my office and sit down and tell me about their dream, their eyes are just lit up. I mean, they're ready to go. Sometimes I have to pull them back and say, okay, we got to focus here, you know. But I can do this to this to this. We got to focus. We got to have a plan. And plus, we got to have a backup plan. We got to have a plan B. But I believe that startups, in order for you to get where you are, how do people like Apple and all those large companies and Microsoft's got started out of his home, in his basement. So small businesses start small, and you can be big as you would like to be as long as you put the hard work into it and you're able to get the things that you have. And that's what our office is here for. We help you to kind of focus. If you're in business and you need to kind of have a jump start, and we all have been faced with that. As small business owners, I see it all the time. They come in and they say, you know, I'm just not making the marketing sales. People are just not buying my product. Then it's time for you to try to do some different things. you have to kind of wait with the time. And that's one of the reasons why I tell a lot of startups that if you're starting a business, make sure you look at the technology, because technology changes so fast. Look at Blockbuster. They were growing, right? And all of a sudden, they're just gone. I mean, you don't go to Blockbuster. You go to $1. You get your movie from $1. So it's about changing and changing your business with the time. So that's what we basically do. We provide free, confidential, and counseling services to you as a small business and you as a startup. We have access to a team of experts, and we have volunteers that have expertise in their certain areas. And last year, I wrote a grant to the Cameron Foundation. You all familiar with the Cameron Foundation? Anybody? This is an organization in Petersburg that offers grants for small business. You have to be in their jurisdictions, and they just do the grants for nonprofit organizations. So we were able to get a huge grant, and I wrote the grant because I know that the SBDCs don't know everything. We don't have all the expertise. And so the grant was set up so we could actually match a client. If the client had a specific area that he needs work in, we'll match a consultant with that client for free services. And we also kind of watch them and back up. So we do a lot of things at the SBDC office. We wear many, many hats as you as small business owners do. Now, we are financially supported by Longwood University and the Small Business Administration. So some of our fundings come from the Small Business Administration, and our other fundings come from our localities, which is your Hopewell, your Denver, your Chester, those small areas. So that's basically how we're funding, how we provide services for you. We do not charge for our services. All our services is free. We do have training classes that we have, and we do offer some classes there is a small fee for. We have to sometimes pay our instructors. But for the most part, most of our classes are free. Where's we're located? We are here in Petersburg. There's offices in Farmville where we report directly to. That's our headquarters office. We have an office in Denwick. We have an office in Danville. We have an office in Martinsville and South Boston. So we all report to Longwood University. And as I mentioned to you, the accredited SBDC services are, we do training, because it's really important as a small business owner to stay on top of things. So what I try to do, and our office try to do, is try to make sure that we get classes provided for you, classes that we think that you would need as a small business owners, to kind of keep you abreast and up to par with your, with your business, because it's very important. We do one-on-one business counseling, as I mentioned. We do financial resources. Now, what I mean by that, we don't actually do loans, but we help you get prepared to go to the banks to get loans. How many of you all have been struggling with banks in terms of trying to get a loan, or just the loan process and everything changed? Have anybody had any challenges with that? No? Good Lord. That's incredible.
We're lending. We're still lending.
Oh, wow. And I hear that all the time. The bankers are lending. And I hear that most people are not, either they're not going to you, or I'm hearing from the bankers is that, we're lending, but you have to come with a little bit tighter belt, which means that you got to be a little bit more prepared. A long time ago, it was like, you did your business plan, you provided your projections, you went to your banker knew your name, and everything was just great. Now things have changed, and it has nothing to do with the bankers. It just has to do with the way things are. So you got to get prepared. So what we try to do is sit you down, try to help you through that process, but it is a process. And I have never, tell me if I'm wrong, I have never met a small business owner yet who enjoys doing their financials and their projections. If it is, I would love to see you guys. That is something, as a startup, they don't want to deal with. As the existing business, they have to deal with it, but it's like they put it secondary. But it's a very, very, very subject that really, really need to be addressed. And particularly with the startups, because startups have to have so much now in order to actually get loans. And the biggest factor I hear from some of the banks, because we have a relationship with our banks, is that when you come for your loan, you got to be ready. Your credit got to be up to par. And not only have to have credit, you got to have the collateral. You got to have all these things. So what I'm saying to you is that it's exciting being a business owner. It's exciting starting up. But you got to be ready. You got to have all your heads and ducks in a row. And that's just the way life is, unfortunately.